Hey everyone, TJ Hernandez here, and I'm the founder of RosterCoach.com, a classroom-style video-based website that's designed to help you improve your daily fantasy sports game. Today's preview is from a lesson explaining how to choose your DFS cash games. If you like this video, please like and share it, and don't forget to leave a comment below. The decision between if you should be playing 50-50s or head-to-heads as your main cash game comes down to the size of your bankroll and how many games you can afford at a given buy-in level. So as we've been doing throughout this course, we're going to stick with the $420 bankroll, which assumes that we have a $100 deposit to start with, and we could replenish up to $20 per week. So in short, if you want to play head-to-heads, you should be able to play 30 games at a buy-in level, and here's why. So if you're playing head-to-heads, you want to be able to play against enough lineups that we will face close to a normal distribution of scores. So basically, we don't want to run the risk of running into a small group of very good lineups, even if we have a good lineup. Now, without going too far down a statistics rabbit hole or getting outside the scope of this lesson, all we need to know is that when a random sample approaches a N or a sample size of about 30, then the distribution of our N, or in this case, the distribution of the scores that we're facing in head-to-heads, should approach a normal distribution. To illustrate this, imagine we have a lineup that's in the 75th percentile of cash games. If we're playing against a very small amount of opponents, less than 30, then this graph shows us that there's still a decent chance that a large chunk of our opponents can have a lineup that is better than ours, even though we're in the 75th percentile. As our opponents get close to 30, then the scores that we're playing against should reach somewhat of a normal distribution. So we'll see that a much smaller percent chance that we're going to run up against many lineups that are better than our lineup. And then obviously as that number gets higher, we get to a much more normal distribution, and our lineup in the 75th percentile is only going to lose about as much as we would expect it to. So how can we apply this to our game selection on a weekly basis? Going back to our weekly money and play calculation, with our $420 bankroll, assuming we're abiding to the 90-10-10 rule, we should be playing about $38 in weekly cash. So knowing that we want to play the smallest games possible, if we can play up to 50 entries at a buy-in level on a given slate, then we're fine. We can play up to $50 in weekly cash. But let's assume that we're on the other end of the extreme. We're playing 80-20-10. So we have 20% of our money in play and we're only playing 80% cash. Now our weekly cash is $67, but we can only max out at $51 games. The amount we have left over is our weekly cash minus the $50 in $1 games. And we see we'd only be able to play 9 $2 head-to-heads. So we're going to be taking on much more risk with those 9 $2 head-to-heads, because not only are we playing at a higher buy-in level, but there's a chance that since we're only playing 9 entries at the $2 level, that even if we do have a very good lineup, we could run into a handful of lineups that are still better than ours, and we won't win at the rate that we might expect. So how might you be better served spending that last $17 you have available in cash games? You could not play it at all. You could take the added risk of playing more expensive head-to-heads that are going to inherently carry more risk than your $1 head-to-heads, or you can put them in 50-50s. And now the question becomes, well, if I have $17 to spend in 50-50s, should I just put one lineup in a bunch of 50-50s? And at the same token, if I'm playing head-to-head, should I just be playing one lineup or should I be playing multiple lineups? And the answer, if you're trying to minimize your variance, really lies in how we win the games and how scores are distributed. And my suggestion would be that if you're playing head-to-heads, you should play very few lineups, 1, maybe 2 if you have some very close decisions. While if you're playing a higher volume of 50-50s or double-ups and trying to minimize your variance, you should be playing multiple lineups in those 50-50s and double-ups, and I'll illustrate why.